What's up, guys? Welcome to Mondo and the Big Guy. My name is Armando. That fat Joe Rogan looking like motherfucker is actually David Graziosi. And it's quarantine day 765.
Seems
Uh,
like it's 2 years long. That's a little bit too far.
yeah, that's all right. No one cares. You suck. So today we're going to have a special guest. Dave, can you tell us a little bit about this guest that we're going to have today?
Yes. Allison Roberti, I hope that I'm saying her name the right way, is a yoga instructor I've known for around 8 years now. I met her at the Aquatic Center. She actually practiced on me when she was becoming an instructor. We met when I was personally training her. The Aquatic Center had a weird way of doing personal training. It wasn't really, something that we could hold people accountable to. It was very cheap. So a lot of people stuck with it a long time. And I got to, meet a lot of great people that way. So it was something that we evolved into a relationship where we actually became kind of symbiotic in the fitness aspect of it. We started some classes in some gyms that I was a part of, some classes that in gyms that I owned. We tried to get her a job at the Aquatic Center, and my whole thing from yoga was just to get a little more flexible, a little more healthy. I need to get to be a yogi. So with her, that was exactly what was good about it.
Yeah, no, because I took a handful of classes of yoga. Actually, the first time I took it was in a classroom setting, and it was dark, so it wasn't as scary being in a dark classroom. You can't see as much, obviously, but some of the poses, my God, like I cannot do it. There was just like the movements are incredible. It's actually really hard, and you and I both have worked out.
Mm.
Obviously, we've worked out for 20 plus years. You're more competitive than I am, and so forth. But yoga is really tough. Yoga is no joke,
No, it's tough. It's tough. So you want to put her on? Welcome to Armando and my podcast, Mondo and the Big Guy. If you can introduce yourself and maybe give us a little background.
Been teaching yoga for about 10 years, practicing pretty much for a lifetime. Always been a supplement, but now it's pretty much my forefront. Met Dave, I say maybe 15 years ago, working
and
out.
70 pounds lighter.
Mine or his? 70
No, his. No.
It must seem like 15 years ago, but I've only been working for the county for 11, so it's got to be less than 15.
Really? Okay, I feel like I know you longer. All right, anyway,
Yeah.
Up in the Aquatic Center working out, and Karen, a lovely lady who works there, said, if you have any questions, ask Dave. I go, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Was he that intimidating?
To me, he was.
Gotcha.
Then he started to help me out. Then I joined his classes, and then when I started to teach, we started to kind of barter and stuff like that. And that's how we met.
Cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty similar to the version I have. I didn't think it was.
I don't want to help her.
Yeah, no. And we've Allie and I had a lot of conversations when she first started to become an instructor about what I thought would be the best route for her. Not that she even asked; I just privileged up that information to her.
Of course you did.
So, Allie, I'm not super sure of your background prior to yoga and prior to me meeting you. And obviously Mondo has no idea, and people listening have no idea. You were in like the corporate atmosphere prior?
I was, yeah. Prior to having a family right out of high school-ish and going to school at night, I went into banking, financial industry. So I was a registered like SA, sales assistant at the time. Now I think they're titled something else, but was in that industry for about 10 years and then decided to stay home and raise my kids. A little bit of a shot in the foot because getting back into the corporate world was very challenging. I'm still not really back in, but I'm weaving my way back in. But teaching yoga in the meantime was a great option. So health and fitness has always been in my background, athletic my whole life. So it was a great way to kind of make your own schedule and teach and, you know, keep people inspired and motivated and all that stuff. So, and then went back to school actually back in my 30s for my associates and just wrapped up my health science degree in for health and wellness, for corporate wellness.
Okay.
So
Very
yeah,
cool.
yeah, it was a nice pairing with the yoga. It was actually a friend of mine that I worked with was like, take anything wellness because you can kind of incorporate the yoga into any corporate wellness program, which I've done. Hanes Celestial and Delta Airlines. I worked with a girl who got us in there, and so there's a lot of corporate wellness out there.
So when did you actually like start yoga? Like what got you inspired to actually become a teacher and start teaching people?
Well, in 7th grade, my teacher brought us all the girls down and taught us what I remember being yoga. And back then there was no yoga around. I mean, you had to go into like dark alleys and creepy places to take yoga. So she taught us, always put it in the background, you know, a runner, biker, cyclist, weight trainer. So yoga was always like that. Yeah, I need to do my yoga. I need to stretch a little bit. And stretch is a word I don't even really use anymore. I really use lengthen because stretch is just like such an aggressive way to look at your body. But anyway, so then, you know, found some dark alleys with a friend of mine, took some yoga, really couldn't find much, then just got videos. You guys are both younger than I am. So videos, then it started to boom a little bit, jumped in on the boom and just started to teach.
Do you remember like what years like of like because I'm interested in like this like backyard of, you know, in like this,
yeah,
like when did that like what do you remember the years of that, like how that began?
well, the backyard, yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, I went to Hofstra University at some like, you know, Saturday morning program, and it was this weird woman, but for whatever reason we kept going back. It's not like, oh, she's weird, we're not gonna go, you know. And that was I would say that was like early 90s.
Early 90s. Okay.
Yeah,
So is this
early
the
90s.
time like that Bikram was around also?
Yeah, I don't know, I didn't watch that movie, we discussed that yesterday. I never watched it, but yeah, he was definitely around, but it wasn't like it is now.
Gotcha.
Definitely not like it
I
is
think
now.
yoga was more of a West Coast thing, and then
I was just going to
this
say
way?
California.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't as big in New York in the 90s?
I would guess not, although I think it was starting to blossom. I think because I know that they had some pretty heavy hitters, some like from India, come over and teach. So it was definitely on the rise for sure.
Okay.
And then it just exploded. And I think Bikram had a role to play in that, to be honest with you. I mean, like Dave was saying to me, like I practice Ashtanga yoga, which is, I'm not going to get into because it would just take too long, but I think Bikram might have springboarded some people because of the intensity of it to kind of shift over to Ashtanga, which is a more traditional practice than Bikram's practice is.
Well, meaning that it's like, it's not hot. You're not doing anything that's hot yoga and like sweating profusely, correct?
No, what we like to do, honestly, is work in like 85 degrees. That's ideal for us.
Which is
some
still
people
pretty
are more
relatively hot. I mean,
it's pretty hot.
Yeah.
But have you ever walked into a Bikram room? I mean,
No.
They don't let people mess
I don't want to pass out, and he's too fat to go there. So let's not let him pass out as soon as he walks in.
it's brutal. I mean, and I have a weak stomach, so I can't handle it. It's like a full day for me by the time you hydrate, mentally prepare, physically prepare. Afterwards, you can't go anywhere. Ooh, you're sweating. You have to go home. It's like a 5-hour ordeal. Like I just don't know how people do it.
So you just talked a little bit about the mental part of it, and you know, I've known you for so long, and I don't know if you want me to bring up your Catholicism, but
You could.
it's Catholicism and yoga don't tend to always mix. And
No.
the story that I like to tell is when I first started yoga back in the day, my mother, who is a devout Catholic and goes multiple times per week, multiple times per day sometimes, told me was going to be possessed by the devil if I took if I took yoga classes. You're gonna love that I'm telling this on.
That's all right. Just okay.
But how do you manage that? Because you being a Catholic and you having to teach a certain way don't always mesh. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm a diehard Catholic. My whole life, Catholic school, the whole thing. So, again, if the yoga police are listening, I'm going to get in pretty big trouble. I did study all the philosophy, and I respect all of the philosophy. And as a Catholic, I don't subscribe to the, all the gods. I only have one. Um, so when I teach, especially in a public place like a library or a corporate setting, I won't bring any of that in. We don't even say Om at the beginning or the end. Like, I won't do that as a teacher, because you're in such an environment where you could just raise so many, feathers get ruffled. So in the studio, you can Om. Some people even go as far as to chant. I don't even do that, really.
What studios do you work out of now, just to kind of?
Yeah, I'm at Samudra Yoga in Garden City on New Hyde Park Road. Sylvia and Yahaya are the owners. They're fantastic. Never had a problem with them. The community is so welcoming and so open, and we have so many different classes from beginner to advanced, and it's a great studio. She's been open about 5 years now, so she's doing really well. And the other one is Bikram Yoga Roslyn. I don't teach Bikram, no. Jen is there. She started to incorporate some Ashtanga classes there, so it's nice.
When do you teach in Roslyn? What days of the week?
Well, it was Wednesday. I don't know what's going to happen when this is over. I was actually a long-term sub for her, like over a year. Somebody was taking a class, but there's a handful of Ashtanga teachers that are there. My friend Adam, myself, and this kid Adil. But anyway, as a practitioner in yoga, what I'll do, I was telling Dave, I'll say my rosary during my practice. I'll say, Hail Marys. I'll say Our Fathers. Or nothing. Yoga's really, if you really want to get to the root of yoga, it's really just to settle the chatter of the mind. That's it. The postures are there as a tool and a vehicle to help you bring your focus in.
So
if you want to get the groovy part of it, yeah.
So like as of right now, are you guys doing any like classes online, or like how are you reaching people?
Zoom. The owners gave us, originally they gave us like one a day, just to, I guess, to test the waters and see who would come. Now I think the studio's running 3 to 4 a day.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, I am getting sometimes more than I did in the classroom. Mm-hmm. I think what's happening is I think we're getting people who are intimidated to come in.
Okay.
Or better yet, like I teach beginners on one night and advanced class on another night. So I'm seeing some of my beginners starting to creep in to the advanced class, and maybe they turn their video off, and so be it. Good. I'm glad if they're embarrassed, I don't know why, but they're turning their video off, and maybe they're attempting some, a little more challenging postures for themselves, which is, I'm not an emotional person. I don't cry easily, but when I see them all on Zoom, I'm like, oh, I'm just so happy that they're there. They're dedicated. Yeah, we're actually rocking and rolling on Zoom, surprisingly.
Wow. Yeah, I would feel like right now and at this time that we're all quarantined at home and we have like really nothing to do, but this could be a time for people to actually heal their chakra, correct? Is that what it is?
Heal their chakra, yeah. Heal anything, really.
Time to heal it, and try to focus more on themselves, because as a society, especially in New York, it's extremely hard to help yourself out, because we're always moving. It's a constant movement here, right, Dave? We're always going 100 miles an hour without slowing down. So like to slow down, it's almost impossible to do it here in New York or Long Island, whatever the case may be.
New York is tough.
New York is extremely tough. So this actually might be a good thing for people. It might open up a new avenue for you guys to maybe possibly do more Zoom classes once the quarantine has been lifted.
Yeah. We was talking that, yeah.
I think that a big part of what group fitness is going to be in the future is there's going to be the in-house people that are there, but there's going to be a camera set up where there's going to be a live stream going for people to sign up so they can do it at home, because some people just don't feel comfortable going.
No, I know.
And you're absolutely right, because I know a couple people who are afraid to go to the gym, and to me, I can't understand that. I don't get the concept that you can't go to the gym, but most people are like, well, they're looking at me. And honestly, no one's really looking specifically at you. Everyone's looking at themselves in the mirror.
Yes.
So,
or their phone.
Exactly. But like to change someone's mindset, maybe it would have to start something like this, like a Zoom class, and then maybe give them the confidence to be able to take the next step to go to the gym or to the yoga classes or whatever the case may be.
It is out there. I mean, look at Peloton now. Peloton is just exploding. They're doing different types of things with treadmills and rowers and stuff like that now. They have these new things that you can do in your house with a big mirror. I think it's called Mirror, actually, where you do workouts with an instructor, and they don't see you or anything like that. They don't have to see you. I mean, it's like old school workout videos, but with a little bit more of a virtual feel, because you can correct somebody if you wanted to. I don't know how much correcting you're doing in a yoga.
None. Zero.
And
Absolutely
is that something
none.
that's like scary for you to like show somebody a move, and especially a beginner, and they're not able to understand it? Because when I did it, and I had an instructor, I could not move. There was movements that I was like, what the hell?
What?
Like, what is going on right now? I can't believe my hips are doing that, and my hips don't lie, but it was crazy.
You made fun of me.
No, it is. I know.
You made fun of me before you got on, and he was saying how he can't possibly see me doing yoga. And
he did great.
I explained to him how amazing I was at it. So
yeah, okay. That's an absolute
No, he
lie.
was good. He was a very good student. And this is where Dave and I would battle quite a bit. Like, when I started to give up the weight training, what do you mean? You need to, you have to. And, there was like 7 years where I did no weight training. And I said, nope, my Ashtanga practice gives me everything I need. And I don't need anything else. And I went back about a year ago to the weight training.
Okay.
Just because go ahead.
No. So now to point that to that's actually pretty good. So, I know a lot of women don't like to weight train. They're afraid to weight train. So as a yoga instructor and somebody who's practiced both sides, would you tell them that like you should be weight training and incorporate yoga?
It depends on who you talk to and what system. Like the Ashtanga system is strict. If you want to listen to the all the rules, if you will. Because if you look at the Ashtanga practice, it's got 6 series, right? So the primary series is your first one. And in the old days, you couldn't move on until you could do a posture with proficiency. The teacher would say, no, you can't move on. So people would sit in the primary series for years. I mean, that's not how I would teach. And then you go to the second, and it's a very intense, strong practice, very strong. It was designed for 12-year-old boys. And so you have middle-aged American women trying to stuff themselves into this practice. So I felt it gave me everything I needed. I was strong, I was flexible. And I tried it. And it was a good experiment for 7 years. The reason I went back to the weights was I felt I needed to be stronger for my back. I felt I needed to be stronger for osteoporosis on the horizon, if
Correct.
It's there. I don't think it's there from all the weight training I've done and the activity I've done. But I mean, I wouldn't put myself there 3 days a week anymore. But once a week, I think, is good with the Ashtanga practice.
Gotcha. And Dave, what do you think about that? Because I know
I have a very strong opinion on it. It's not about my opinion. I'm a diehard weight training person, and I'm not a sciencey kind of person when it comes to what I know. But when you don't put a load-bearing exercise program in your workout, meaning more than your body weight, bone density is not going to increase like we were talking about, or level out, if you will, because you're not breaking down that tissue. You're not breaking down the bone so it can build up back stronger. Weight-bearing stuff is very important, and it is also very important to be above what your normal load would be as far as your body weight. That's my opinion, just on that little portion.
Okay, well, let me just ask you this. When I go into the weight room, I'm not lifting 100 pounds over my head, but I can take my handstand.
I'm not saying that. It's not over your body weight. It's over what you're, so if you do this, right? Yeah. And you do that with a dumbbell, that's over your body weight. You're not lifting your body weight with a curl. You're lifting more than your hand weighs.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
That's what I mean by over your normal body weight. It's, obviously I'm not lifting 300 pounds or whatever I am now on every exercise.
Yeah, okay. That's true.
No, it was good to get back in. I'm glad I'm back in. But I'm glad I'm back in with the HIIT workouts once a week as well. So
That's cool.
Listen,
Yeah.
I think you have to just I think you have to do whatever you're going to do. Whatever it is you're going to do is what you should, whatever you like to do is what you need to do. Right. I mean, I hate weight training. Sorry. I just hate it. I do.
Why?
I do.
Explain to me why you hate weight training. I want to hear it.
I'm just bored. It
You're
bores
bored?
me.
So doing the same 6 poses over and over again is not boring?
There's more than 6, but yeah, and that can get boring too.
Right.
No,
Exactly.
6 series within the series.
You're talking to a lady
postures.
who'll run 5 miles. It's the most boring shit you've ever seen.
Also, I hate every minute of that as well.
I agree. Running is so boring, but I could see like the relaxation mentally when you're running.
I love yoga. I would do yoga 3 times a week if I could bring myself.
And I agree. So would I.
I think I would do it not as much as weight training. I think I'd do it just under weight training, but I think it is just as important as weight training. I'm not saying weight training is more important. So before the yoga police come to me and they throw their water on me or their oils and stuff.
You smell better. It's okay.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's something that everybody should understand is you need to do a various amount of things to. I
agree. I do. And when I got into the 6-day-a-week Ashtanga practice, it was great for the time. And then I think it was time to continue as I approached 3rd series, which is a very strong arm balancey series. I'm like, okay, I need a little weight. But if you really want to look at yoga, and I mean this when you look deep into your yoga practice, and that doesn't mean advanced practitioners. So just so I'm clear, it doesn't matter. I don't care if you're brand new, but if you get deep within your practice when you're there on your mat, and again, this is going to sound a little groovy for Dave, but you can see the patterns on your mat will reflect your patterns in your life. They will mimic each other, meaning like there's a time where I'm like a powerhouse on the mat. Mm-hmm. And that's because I need the strength for out there. Then there's times where you need more flexibility and that'll come through on my mat. And then you need the flexibility in the head as well. Does that make sense? Like there's time to soften and there's time to strengthen.
I don't even know where I am right now. So
no, we get it. We get
I completely.
No,
you've been drinking too much patchouli oil, so
a little, maybe. I mean, I always tell the students, you always want to balance out your strength and your flexibility, and sometimes your life needs this, and sometimes it needs that. But ultimately, we want to get here.
Sometimes beer, sometimes liquor.
Vodka.
Right. So that the liquor stores are essential. Right? They're all open.
Yes, they are.
They're all open.
So can I ask you, do you actually prefer practicing yoga or do you prefer now teaching it to others?
I prefer my practice. I love to teach. I was teaching 12 to 15 classes a week, but I went back to work. So I'm working back in St. Francis Hospital. So I'm glad I'm back to work. Oh, I'm not a nurse, but thank you. Yeah, I'm there. I had the antigen test the other day. I don't know the answer yet. But anyway, I like to teach. Just 15 was too much a week. Gotcha. You know, I do look forward to my 2 to 3 times a week now. It was a lot. Dave said it. He's like, oh, you're not going to like it. And I said, that's what happened. I'm like, oh, I'm going to teach when I first started to teach. Now I go, I'm going to work.
Yeah, that conversation went a little more like I was in such a bad place with personal training for a while that I was a grumpy fuck. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not enjoying this anymore. I'm doing it 15 hours a day at some days. I don't want to see 20 people in a day anymore. It sucks. After a while, certain people just get on your nerves. And I was parroting that to her. She did eventually see that because when you love something so much, you just want to do it all the time.
Yes.
And you want to share it.
Yeah, like we did a podcast the other day. I'm like, I want to do 20 more right now because I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying talking to people. I'm enjoying sharing my opinion and it being on camera, whatever it is. It's enjoyable and you want to do a million times. And then you get to a point where it becomes a job and then that's not what you're doing it for.
No.
Cool.
I agree.
Do you have any thoughts that you can bring into the conversation that we're having that maybe would help push some people towards yoga or push some people to try it that haven't tried it? Yeah,
just try it. I mean, like, especially now with the Zoom, turn your video up. I have people at work at St. Francis where they're petrified. And I have a library class coming up from my sister's library in Queens. It's Langston Hughes Library. We're doing a free class next week, Wednesday night at 7, the 29th or the 28th. so I put it on Facebook and I mentioned it to some people. I'm like, God, it's free. It's an hour. It's gentle yoga. Turn your video off if you don't want me to see you, or you don't want the other participants to see you. So and even if you hightailed it after 10 minutes, just give it a try. It's all about the breathing more than anything. That's what we say. It's a breathing practice. The rest is just bending. I mean, if you know Dave, you want to challenge yourself, right? So, I mean, you can be challenged in yoga or you don't have to be. It's your practice, not mine. I always say that as well. I mean, if you just sat and breathed for an hour, that's a practice. Again, it's a little groovy for Dave, but
well, I mean, have you
true.
ever heard him breathe?
It's quite the workout.
That's a workout. Just hearing him get off the couch, that's...
Dave would, when we were doing a couple of privates, he would be sweating. I mean, he would be tripping. It was hard for him because it's not something he does. Yeah. It definitely was a challenge for Dave. And, he's very strong. There's that strong his flexibility was,
It was fantastic.
It was far away.
It was fantastic. Yeah.
You're making me look bad here.
No, he was good. He was patient and he was willing to, to give it a shot. And he did it for a while. He did it for a while.
I still wish I could do it. Honestly, I just like this podcast or just like anything I do in my life, I have to get like this itch. And then when I get the itch, I go overboard for a little while and then I fall off real hard. I do that with everything. So it's really more on my personality type. It's not the actual practice of yoga. I think I need to learn from the practice of yoga and do things a little bit more moderate and slow things down a little.
I would agree. I would 100% agree with that.
No one was asking, Mondo.
Yes, they were.
Well, it's just a New York thing. I think Armando's right. I mean, we have two speeds. It's like 80 miles an hour and crash. I mean, at least that's how I live.
No, and that's something that I've actually started to learn to slow down. I was actually having an argument with Chubby on my side over there because he goes 100 miles an hour and I'm telling him to slow down.
No, that's not what he was saying, Alex.
Yes, it was. I was telling you 100 miles an hour.
If you want to get into it, he was saying slow down because I'm excited about doing this kind of stuff. And he doesn't like when people are happy or excited because he's
absolutely
a miserable prick.
That's absolutely correct. Absolutely not correct at all. Yeah. So before we go on a tangent of ripping each other apart, which we love to do, by the way, you were talking about the library again. Can you tell me what day is that again, and how can someone see that?
Yeah, it's on. How can I get you to see it? Well, my Facebook, Dave's friends with me on Facebook. I posted it. It's Langston Hughes Library in Queens. My sister is the curator, so she organizes all the programs there. It's just one night. It's a one-off. I guess they're going to see how it goes, and if it goes well, they'll put more on the schedule.
I'll throw up your Facebook name on the.
Yeah, that would be good, and you could find it there. And
you don't have a website or anything like that, do you?
I do. It's a Weebly website.
What's a Weebly
because I was so
website?
cheap.
What does that mean?
Because she's so cheap.
Free. I'm cheap.
Okay.
All mine are free, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's AllisonRobertiYoga.weebly.com. So, yeah,
and so
enough letters.
2 places that you teach at. What's the website to get the 2 places that you teach at?
Okay, Samudra Yoga is in Garden City. I think she's just Samudra Yoga Garden City. You could just text that, Google that.
Okay. And the Roslyn?
And the other, Bikram Yoga Roslyn. Is what her name. Yes. Okay. Yes. St. Francis is actually right up the hill. So, those are the 2 I'm at the moment. And I used to teach when things go back to normal. I'll be back at the Seaford Library. If you're a Seaford resident, she does a couple of sessions a year. Also, start out gentle. Take a beginner class. It's almost like, if you've ever played a musical instrument, I've never had, but you're not going to go out there and play Rachmaninoff, right? So I always tell them small, little digestible pieces when you're learning anything, right? I mean, you're not going to go and do the most advanced postures, and every posture starts out somewhere. So even when students want to learn something advanced, I say, all right, well, let's break it down, just like you would anything, musical instruments, weight training, whatever, a run. You're not going to go out and run a marathon, right? Baby steps.
Which is true.
It's definitely good to talk to you again.
Thanks for coming and having me on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really
Just
nice.
try it. If you've never tried, Armand, you've tried it, yes? Yoga?
Yes, I tried it actually at Gritty Buddha, and then I've done it like here at the house a bunch of times. But then I get frustrated and throw the mat across the room, and then I turn it off and I walk away.
It's also got
But
cats, so the cats are probably all over.
yeah, and I have my cat. Yeah, I'm a guy with a cat. Yeah,
That's all right. That's good.
That's it.
Yoga is very humbling. It's just like anything else. As much as as much confidence as it gives us, it humbles us equally, in my opinion.
I agree. All right. I guess
Very good.
we can bring this to an end. Thank you so much.
Yes, thanks for
I
chatting.
appreciate everything that you've done for me.
Yes. Yeah. Armando, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you for
I'll
all
meet
that
you in
information.
person. Yeah, someday.
Yeah,
it's all
absolutely.
over.
Nice.
Big party when it's all over.
I can't wait.
Big yoga.
All right. Wanted to thank Allison Roberti again for coming on to Mondo and the Big Guy. Really appreciate her outlook and her general disposition. She's such a nice person. And
Absolutely.
she really helped us kind of understand the benefits of yoga and just the idea of how we need to slow down a little bit and take life one step at a time.
Which I think all of us need to learn anyway, that we need to slow down a little bit and enjoy what's around us, even though we are quarantined and we think there's nothing to do, but actually we have everything at our disposal, right now in this age in 2020. So, guys, you try to do the best that you possibly can. I understand it's really difficult, especially for, I don't know, someone like me. I'm extremely active. Dave is extremely not active, as you can tell by his appearance. So I'm just kidding. He's active only from the couch to the fridge and the fridge to the couch, but try to stay home as best as you possibly can. Also, tonight is the NFL 2020 draft. Which is, I'm looking forward to it. The Giants have the 4th overall.
No one cares about the NFL draft.
Yes, they do. People do. I can't
Football
believe
sucks.
You played football, but whatever. That's just obscene by you. But so obviously go New York Giants. Go New York Bills also. The Jets can kiss my ass. But we appreciate you guys listening to us. Please leave us a comment. Feel free to share this. We look forward to speaking to another special guest soon. Dave?
Peace out, Cub Scouts.
All right, guys. Enjoy. Have a great evening.